An NFL insider just shared a surprising update about the Las Vegas Raiders quarterback situation, and it could change the team's direction heading into next season. Now the big question is, if the Raiders decide to move on from struggling starter Geno Smith, who is the top candidate to replace him? And just as important, what does this mean for Geno Smith's future in Las Vegas? Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and press the bell icon so you never miss any breaking updates. Alright, let's get into it. Quarterback issues are nothing new for the Raiders. Every season, it feels like a new QB comes in: Jimmy Garoppolo, Gardner Minshew, and now Geno Smith. But this year, Geno's performance has been disappointing. Yesterday, some fans were still hoping he might bounce back, but today, an ESPN report has placed Geno Smith and the Raiders at the top of the quarterback watch list. So what's actually happening behind the scenes in Las Vegas? Geno Smith's situation in Las Vegas has become harder to ignore. His numbers tell the story: too many turnovers, not enough momentum, and the offense constantly stuck in neutral. Inside the building, frustration is growing. The team once hoped Geno would give them stability, but instead, he's become one of the league's most interception-prone quarterbacks, and that has put the Raiders in a tough spot. At one point, there were whispers about possible quarterback options. Names like Tua were floated weeks ago, but nothing ever moved forward. And now, the Raiders look like they're locked into a quarterback they no longer trust. Fans believed Kenny Pickett might be the spark the team needed, but that hope disappeared fast. In the few snaps he's had, Pickett has struggled badly. The coaching staff doesn't seem confident in him, and it shows. Which leaves a big question: why trade for a quarterback you won't even give a real chance? But the real issue goes deeper. This regime is strongly tied to Geno Smith. Head coach Pete Carroll continues to stand by him, almost refusing to consider change. For players who aren't his guys, it's a different story. You can see it in cases like Jackson Powers-Johnson. When healthy, he was one of the Raiders' strongest offensive linemen, yet he was rotated strangely, given limited snaps, and placed in spots that didn't fit his strengths. The message behind the scenes feels clear: in Las Vegas right now, loyalty matters more than performance. And that's creating growing tension inside a team that desperately needs direction. Right now, it feels like Geno Smith isn't being pushed at all. His starting job seems untouched, even though his performance hasn't backed it up. And with Kenny Pickett struggling every time he steps on the field, there's really no competition behind Geno. Honestly, if the Raiders wanted to tank for a better draft pick, starting Pickett would probably help that cause more than anything Geno is doing. But the option that makes the most sense, and the one fans keep coming back to, is Aidan O'Connell. Aidan isn't a superstar, but he's steady. He's already started 17 games for the Raiders, and while the results weren't amazing, he played at roughly the same level Geno is playing right now. The difference? Aidan is young, he was drafted by the Raiders, and he still has room to grow. The NFL struggles with quarterback development, so why not develop the one you already invested in? This coaching staff hasn't actually gotten a real look at Aidan yet. He saw preseason action before going to IR, and now he's close to returning. That makes him the most realistic option for a mid-season change. Looking back at last year's numbers, Aidan wasn't terrible: around 1,600 yards, 8 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions. He didn't put the ball in danger, and that's something this team desperately needs right now. For the Raiders, the smartest move might be simple: play Aidan O'Connell when he's healthy, and put Geno on the bench. Even the ESPN insider who broke the recent story seems to think Geno's time in Las Vegas is falling apart fast, and the situation is starting to look worse by the week. ESPN insider Bill Bonwell didn't hold back when talking about Geno Smith's decline. He described Geno as one of the league's most surprising rise and fall stories, a quarterback who once looked revived in Seattle but has gotten worse every season since taking over there. Bonwell pointed out the tough numbers: too many sacks, too many interceptions, and a QBR that keeps sliding. He also explained the harsh reality for Las Vegas: moving on from Geno won't be easy. According to Bonwell, trading Geno would require serious creativity because no team is likely to take on the full $26.5 million he's owed next year. The Raiders could absorb around $8 million themselves, but even then, it's a long shot that another team would willingly pick up the rest. The contract is heavy, and Geno's performance this season only makes it harder. Looking at the numbers, the situation becomes even clearer. A trade before June 1st would free up a huge amount of cap space, over $26 million. Cutting him before the middle of March saves about $8 million. Either way, it's clear that money has become a major part of the conversation. The Raiders are simply not getting a return that matches the price they're paying. And here's the biggest obstacle: the person who still believes in Geno is the same person who brought him to Las Vegas, Pete Carroll. As long as Carroll stands behind him, the quarterback situation becomes even more complicated. There was even a preseason take floating around that the Raiders had upgraded at the two most important positions, head coach and quarterback. Carroll was viewed as a massive improvement, and Geno was supposed to be the steady presence this offense needed. But now, with the season unfolding the way it has, that early confidence looks completely different. Looking back, preseason predictions made it sound like the Raiders had improved in key areas: Pete Carroll as head coach and Geno Smith at quarterback. But now, those early takes feel completely off. Carroll hasn't lived up to expectations, and Geno has struggled so badly that the hype feels almost laughable in hindsight. For Raiders fans, it looks like there's no quick fix. The only realistic alternative might be giving Aidan O'Connell a shot when he returns. If he isn't at least named the immediate backup over Kenny Pickett, it would be frustrating, because it's clear Pickett isn't ready. At the same time, this coaching staff has shown they're hesitant to trust players who aren't their guys, so it's uncertain whether Aidan will get that chance. The harsh reality? The Raiders seem stuck with Geno Smith for now. They'll take the financial hit, trading him is unlikely, and the team remains under the Pete Carroll and John Spych regime. Carroll is a respected coach, and Spych has his strengths too, but this setup leaves the team in a tricky position. So, the truth is what many suspected: Geno Smith will likely remain a Raider for the foreseeable future. If any change happens, it will probably involve giving Aidan O'Connell a chance to grow into the role. Until then, fans are left hoping for improvement while navigating the challenges of a team in transition.